Hi everyone. So today in this video, we'll see how to building our request workflow in the Postman. So in our previous video, we have seen how to create a collection and within the collection, how do we maintain all the requests, right? So if we have more than 10 or 20 disk, endpoints where you can keep it in one folder called collection. So you can directly run this collection going to the collection runner, right? The same thing, so by default, we have seen, right? So by default, when you, let us assume this is one collection. So within the collection, I have five requests, right? So each one would be like anything like put or post or patch, anything it would be. So by default, it will go by the sequential order. Okay, the request one will be executed first time, and this is a number, this is a one, and this is a two, right? So that is how the execution go, right? So this is how the execution go. Now we want to go the we have to control the flow, right? So instead of this one always will go first and this one always will go to, right? So it will go by the order of whatever we have given to the collection, right? So we have to control this flow, so right after the one I want to execute the three, right? So right after three I want to execute to the request two. Okay. So if you don't control the flow, by default, the postman will go by the one by one. So this is our first one, right? So it will execute the request one first, and this one is the second time. This is third one, right? This is a four, and this is a five. So now we want to control this flow, right? So for example, you are creating some. Okay, let us assume this is the first one is our post method, right? So we are creating something, and we have created something incorrectly, right? So for name, we have created by the mistake. There is a spell mistake in the name. So let us assume this is our get method, right? So right after making the post method, we'll go for a get method. The record is created or not, right? So instead of doing this, we know that, right? So we made some mistake in the name, right? So we have typed the name incorrect. We did some spelling mistake here, right? So we did this one. So to verify this one, we don't want to go to the get method, right? So what we can do, we can directly correct those, those spelling mistake by going to the put or patch call, right? So after that, I will go to this second request to make sure my name is updated or not, right? So something like that we can control on the flow, so you are going on flow like a 1 to 5 of the flow, right? So some scenario you want to go by like a 1 2 3 4 5. Some scenario you can directly come from 1 2 3 3 to 5, then you can end your test case, right? So similarly it applies to everything like a 1 to 4 and then 5, something like that, right? So we can control that one. So that is based on the outcome of this case. So what is coming out of from the test case one results, right? So based on the results we can control this flow if we want. Okay, that's the way also we can do it. So this is a simple one where we can we can build a request in the building a request workflow in the postman. Okay, so we'll go to the postman now. So here you can see I have already four requests. Everything in the same endpoint, and it's all our get method only. Okay, so now what we have to do, so when I run this collection, you can see, so it will go by the sequence order, like a 1 2 3 4, right? So we are able to control this one. So in this video, we'll see how to control this flow. So okay, so here also you have option called you can reorder, but it is not like it is not not recommended. It's not handy to come always here to making the run order change, right? So when you have a collection runner window from Postman, you can do this run order, right? So when you run from the CLI mode, that is not possible, right? So we have to control through the flow only by writing some code into the postman. We can control this. Okay, when I run this collection, you can see now. So it will go by the request one, request two, request three, request four, right? So it will go by the one by one, the sequential order, right? So however you have arranged it to into the collection, right? So now we'll control this one. Okay, so for what, for that, what we have to do, you have to go to the test tab. Okay, so here you have to type postman dot set next request, right? So in the request, you have to pass the request name. So here you can see name of the request to be executed, right? So send request is a method name. Okay, so here within this, you can see the description, name of the request to be executed next, right? So what is the next, test case you want to execute, right? So that name you have to give. So name is here is this is a name. Okay, so whatever you see in the rec one, REQ2, REQ3, REQ3, 4, right? So these are the names. Okay. So what I'm telling in the my request one, right after completed the first request, okay, I don't want to go for a two because that is my actual flow, right? So I will simply copy this request three name. Okay, so I will pass it here. Okay, so now what, I mean, which one we are trying to do, I will tell you manually. So we'll complete, I mean, we'll execute the request one flow, I mean, REQ one first, then we'll execute the three second, and we'll come back to four, okay, and we'll end up with a two. Okay, so this is a flow that we are going to try now. Okay, so we don't have a request five, so I know this one. So it will start like a one. So the second method will be executed at three. Okay, third one will be request four. The last one will be request two. Okay, so we'll go and apply the same thing here as well. So right after first one, I am calling for the third request, right? So after third, I have to call the fourth. So even though this is, I mean, it will happen automatically if you don't, I mean, even though if you don't pass this set next request, because it is in the next two, three, right? So still we can go ahead, we can control. Okay. So I'm just making this a four. Okay. So from four where we are going, so from one to two, two to three, three to four, right? I mean, four to two we are going actually. So in the four, what I will give the request name two. Okay. So after this, what happens? So okay, I will run this case now. So you can see the difference now. Okay. So this is our order. So first time it will execute the request one, and second time it will go to the request three, and third is the request four, and the last one is request two. Okay. So now we can, I mean, here is order is same, the run order is same, but we can control in the runtime. Okay. Now you can see it is going on the infinite, I mean, loop, right? So it is, I mean, our test is not stopping, right? So here you can see it is keep on running, right? So we have to stop manually. So why this is happening? You can see the thing here, right? So first time it went to the request one, right? So request one is our first one, and request two, three is our second one, request four is the third one, and request two is the last one, right? So from again request two, it is going to the request three and request four because again the postman will go for this execution order, right? So our last one is request two. Okay, so here we have didn't, I mean, we didn't write any test here, right? I mean, the script, right? So to control the flow, set next request. So what is happening here? So it will execute the first method. It will come to the, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Again, it will come to the this one, right? So after this, we have a, I mean, request three, right? So in the postman collection order, right? So that's the reason you can see it here. So one, two, three, four, two, three, four. Again, same thing. I mean, getting repeated, right? So we have to stop this one, right? So each time you can see after two, three, four, again two, three, four, right? So one never happens because we have control in the one, right? So what I mean to avoid this kind of looping thing, right? So we have to put the end card, right? So as per our design, our request two is the last one, right? So what we have to do here, we have to tell the postman do not execute anything after this. Okay. So instead of test name, I mean test case, the request name, you can keep it as a null. Okay. So when you do this, okay, so our flow will go by only one iteration that we planned here, like a one, two, three, four. Okay. So now I will go in ahead and I will execute the collection. Now you can see the difference. Okay. So I will run it now. So now you can see it is, I mean, went only one iteration, one, three, four, two, right? So that is what we planned actually, right? So our first request is request one, our second thing is request three, and third one is request four, and the fourth one is request two, right? So simply you can control the flow like this, okay? So if you want to do something else, right? So for example, I have to make sure my first method is, I mean, it's pass, right? So 200 or 201. Okay, so if it is only 200, then go to the second method, right? So if it is giving something else, then I don't want to execute further, right? It's similar apply to here as well. So in the request two, right? So if I'm getting the 201 or some other status code that I'm expecting, then we'll go for a next request, right? So otherwise, if you are not getting 201, if you are getting 200 or something else, right? So we can plan like this. So if it is 200, then go to the 5, right? So something like this, we can build our request workflow in the Postman by using the set next request, right? So for example, so here what we can do, instead of putting this line, right? So we can write some test over here. So pm dot test, you can give any name like request one flow, okay, function. So here what I will do, I will apply some if condition. If pm dot response dot code equal to 200, right? So if my request, my response, right? So here my response code is 200 status code, right? So if it is 200, then go ahead and run the next request, right? So if I'm getting something else, right? So you can go for a else condition here, right? Right? So if you are not getting 200, if you are getting 202 or something like that, then you can change it to 20, request 2 or something like this. Okay, so now what happens, if it is not 200, it will go and execute the request 2. If it is a 200, it will execute the number 3, right? So now we'll see, I will execute the same thing now. Okay, so here we have updated as a 200, right? So instead of request 3, I will call the request 4. Okay, request 4 I will give. So now what happens? Request 1 to request 4 will go. From 4 to it will go to the 2. From 2 it will end. The 3 never called. Okay. So that's what the flow that we designed now. I will execute now. So 3 never called. So first one is like a 1. From 1 to it will directly go to 4. Okay. This is our second one. And this is the last one, third one. So the 3 will be skipped for this case. Okay. I will execute now. You can see the response. You can see. So as per our design, so the request one is first one, and request four is the second one, and request third is the last one. So the request three is not executed, right? So we have skipped that one. So here now you can see the test, right? So this is a test that we written, REQ flow one, right? So this is the one that we written in the request one test method, right? So this is the one. So since it is given the 200, it called the request four, right? So like this, you can apply some condition and you can build your workflow you can build your workflow based on your needs. Okay. So this is all about building the request workflow. I will share this Postman URL. You can read out all the documents here. So how do you loop over? The loop over in the sense, this is how we have to loop over by using this Postman set next request, right? I will share this everything in the description video. In the description of the video. Okay. So please go through. If you guys have any doubt, please feel free to ask in the comment section. Okay, guys. Thank you, guys.